few weeks ago, Nintendo dropped a major announcement confirming that a brand new update is coming to Animal Crossing New Horizons, and it's not a small update by any means. In January 2026, version 3.0 of Animal Crossing New Horizons will launch alongside a Switch 2 version of the game. With new spaces to decorate in the form of Slumber Islands coming in, a new hotel opening up which you can decorate for visitors to your island, along with a series of quality of life improvements like bulk crafting arriving, it may feel like there's a lot to take in, and you may be worrying about everything you need to get done to prepare for the 3.0 update. If you want to feel like you're on top of everything which is coming in January, here are 14 things you can do to make sure that you are ready for Animal Crossing 3.0. One of the main features that is coming in as part of Animal Crossing 3.0 is a new hotel that is going to open up on your dock. And one of the things that we really don't know about is how this is going to impact on any decorations that you've got on your dock at the moment. So the main thing that you're going to want to do as part of your preparations for this is to clear the dock of any items that you have on there. It could be that the dock will be cleared automatically for you with any items you've had in there going into your recycling bin, but we also know that Nintendo may suddenly decide to send all of your items into the void. So if you want to be sure that any of the items you have decorating your dock are safe, the best thing to do is get a head start on clearing out your dock so that when that hotel comes in, you're not going to be losing any items that are there. Another thing you may want to consider as part of your preparations for Animal Crossing 3.0 is to collect and farm resources to craft loads of items. As part of the 3.0 update coming in, there's going to be a new box located outside of the hotel, which when you place crafted items into that have been requested by different villagers, you'll then be able to earn extra hotel tickets. You'll also want to collect and farm resources to take advantage of bulk crafting. We also don't know if there are going to be any new recipes launching as part of the 3.0 update, so it's worth getting a few extra resources in place if you are going to take advantage of this and get as many hotel tickets as possible. We also know that there were a few new food items shown off in the trailer, and whilst we don't know if there are going to be any new crops, it certainly won't harm you to just gather a few stacks of all of the different resources and crops before the update lands. Make sure that you're getting a few stacks of each of the different types of woods, iron, and clay as a minimum, as these are going to be the main things that you're going to need to craft a load of these items. Another thing that you're going to need to make sure you do as part of getting it into the 3.0 update is to have a stockpile of bells on hand. You constantly need bells in Animal Crossing New Horizons, and with the update coming in, there are going to be a lot of areas where you're going to need to spend quite a lot of bells. One of the big things that was announced is that we're going to get 2 new storage upgrades coming in, which will take you from 5,000 items all the way up to 9,000 items. If you're planning on upgrading your storage straight away, you're going to need several million bells just for this, as the last storage upgrade to 5,000 cost 1.2 million bells. So if you want to be prepared to make sure that you can get the storage upgrades straight away as soon as the update comes in, you're going to want at least 5 million bells here just to account for all of the costs that may come from these upgrades. You're also going to need bells for the new collaboration items coming in, which are going to be located within the promotion tab of the Nook Shopping app. So if you want to grab these straight away, you're going to need a fair amount of bells for these. If you need help on how to make lots of bells really quickly, I'm working on a video right now of all of the best ways to make money in Animal Crossings. So if you want to be notified when that video goes live, don't forget to subscribe so that you see it as soon as it hits the subscription feed. One thing that's worth working on as part of the preparations that you might want to do for the 3.0 update is to get extra Nook Miles. Although nothing was shown off in the trailer which does use Nook Miles, my guess is that there may be a requirement to buy a license for bulk crafting from the Nook Stop, which is similar to how we unlocked custom fencing in a Flash when the license launched for that so that you could customize fencing. We also don't know if Resetti's new reset service is going to use Nook Miles or bells. So on the off chance that you do need Nook Miles for either of these, it's worth getting a few extra Nook Miles tasks under your belt to help out so that you can get started on this as soon as it becomes available. Something that was quite small that was shown off in the Animal Crossing 3.0 trailer, which I think is going to make a massive difference to island designers, is the ability to store trees, flowers, and bushes in your storage. And if you're someone that is getting started on decorating your island, one of the things you may want to consider for your preparations for the 3.0 update is to stock up on the different sizes of trees and different varieties of them. You don't need to do this straight away, but around about 4 days before the 3.0 update launches, if you are planning on decorating and you want to take advantage of the storage holding the different sizes of trees and bushes, you're going to want to stock up on the different sizes. So make sure that you're planting them and stunting them by placing a fruit tree next to the growing tree, and then you'll have all of the trees and all of the sizes ready to go into your storage when we finally have the ability to store them in the storage. Speaking of island design, one of the things you may want to consider doing as part of the 3.0 update preparations is to get some ideas of what you want to decorate both on your island and the Slumber Islands that are coming in. Both the main island and the Slumber Islands have different requirements in terms of how they work, but before you go into the 3.0 update, it's worth getting some ideas in place of what you want to decorate. If you're planning on using Resetti to clear a section of your island to decorate again, getting some ideas together now on what you want to put in those spaces is a good idea so that when the update comes out, you're ready to go. If you need a visual representation of different things to try, it's worth having a look at some ACNH inspiration online and building out a mood board now of everything you want to try ahead of the update coming in. One of the things that came out as a really clear message as part of the 3.0 update trailer is the need to have a really strong catalogue behind you for decorating. Both the Slumber Islands and the hotel are going to use your catalogue of items that you've bought from Nook's Cranny, picked up from the grounds, or traded with friends, or anything that you've crafted. If you haven't already, now is a good time to review the list of items in Animal Crossing New Horizons, and if there's anything you want to use that you haven't had in your catalogue before, speak with a friend to see if they have it, or look on Treasure Islands if it hasn't already popped up in your Nook's Cranny before. Getting a hold of these items now is going to make a massive difference to you when it comes to decorating. So if you want to make sure that you've got every color and you're playing organically, take advantage of Reese and Cyrus, and also make sure that you've got everything you need before you go into the 3.0 update. With all of these new features coming in, there's one thing that we don't actually know, which is going to be pretty important when it comes to getting access to everything from the get-go in the 3.0 update. And that is what the requirements are to get access to these. As part of the 2.0 update coming in, a lot of the features there, like the Cap'n Islands, were locked behind 3 stars before you could do anything. Although it may not be necessary, one thing that is worth trying to do ahead of the 3.0 update is to get your island to at least 3 stars. We don't know what the requirements are for the hotel, for the Slumber Islands, or for Resetti, so it's best to get at least 3 stars ahead of the 3.0 update launching on the off chance that you may need this. And the higher your star rating is, the better the chances that you'll be able to get access to everything right at launch. One of the things that was shown off in the 3.0 update trailer, which is something you may want to take advantage of if you haven't already, is to use the terraforming tools when you're decorating with friends. You do need to have at least 3 stars before you'll be able to get access to the terraforming tools, and you get them from purchasing terraforming and waterscaping licenses from the Nook Stop. If you haven't already unlocked them, you may not be able to decorate on the Slumber Islands as freely as you want. So if you haven't already gained at least 3 stars and bought the terraforming and waterscaping licenses from the Nook Stop, now is a good time to do so to make sure that you're ready for the 3.0 update. Another feature within the Slumber Islands, which is something that you may want to consider getting prepared for, is having the right villagers that you want on your own island. We already know that one of the features of the Slumber Islands is the ability to call in villagers to live on the island as well, but it's not as flexible as using Amiibo to call in whoever you want. Instead, you'll only be able to bring in villagers who are already living on your island. So if you want to decorate Slumber Island in a particular theme and you want to have villagers which match that theme walking around the island, you're going to want to make sure that you have the villagers that you want on the Slumber Islands living on your island as well. There are a couple of different ways you can use to bring in new villagers onto your island. One of the main ways is going to be making sure that any of the villagers that you want are in the campsite when there is a campsite villager. If you find that there is one in there that you want, it's worth asking them to move onto your island. The other way of doing it is using Amiibo to call in the villagers which are going to be the ones that you want on your island and kicking out any villagers that you don't want as part of that process. If you have friends online that also play Animal Crossing and they've got a villager that you're interested in having, You can also invite their villagers to live on your island as long as you've got an empty house plot. So there are a few different ways of doing this to make sure that you've got the right villagers on your own island before the 3.0 update launches. Now we've gone through the main things that you're going to want to do to prepare for the Animal Crossing 3.0 update, I want to give a few honorable mentions in here that are definitely not required, but things that you may want to consider. The first of which is to get amiibos or to double check the amiibos that you already have. The hotel features an amiibo scanner, so if you want specific villagers and NPCs to visit you, you can call them in via amiibo cards and decorate spaces for them. With the new collaboration items coming in the form of the Zelda series and the Splatoon series, you're going to need compatible amiibo. As part of the collaboration, we're going to be getting 4 new villagers, 2 from the Zelda series in the form of Chulin and Minoru, and 2 from the Splatoon series called Cici and Viche. All of these villagers require specific amiibo to summon them. Although nothing has been confirmed by Nintendo just yet, several people on Twitter have dug into this a little bit more, and now we know which amiibo are going to be needed to summon the villagers in. So I'll put on screen which amiibo you need for each of the different villagers so that you can get any of these new collaboration villagers on your island. We're also presuming that it will be more than likely that all of the Splatoon and Zelda amiibo will unlock all of the collaboration items in their specific series in the same way that scanning in any of the Sanrio cards unlocks their respective series. But we probably won't find out more about this until 3.0 comes out. If you don't have what you need in terms of amiibos, it's worth looking into getting amiibos which match who you're looking for. But if you want to save some money as well, you can also look into NFC chips which store amiibo data on them and work the same way as amiibo cards, so you can then get whichever villager you want into your game. Another thing that is not essential by any means, but is something that you're definitely going to want to take into account if you're planning on taking advantage of the Slumber Islands and some of the upgrades which come with Nintendo Switch 2, is looking to purchase Nintendo Switch Online before the 3.0 update launches. The trailer seems to indicate that NSO was required for the Slumber Islands, which may or may not be the case. We won't know for definite until Nintendo gives us a bit more information, but if you want to take advantage of playing and decorating with your friends, then getting Nintendo Switch Online now is a really good option if that's something you want to do. We also don't know if there's going to be an option for dream addresses with the associated Slumber Islands, but if there are, and you want to share the islands through the dream addresses, then you will need Nintendo Switch Online for that. Something else that is completely optional but is worth considering if it is absolutely essential to you is purchasing the Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade for Animal Crossing. Now, to be absolutely clear, this is not essential by any means. The majority of the updates which are coming to Animal Crossing New Horizons are in the base game launching in January. However, if you have a Nintendo Switch 2 or you're planning on buying one for the 3.0 update, it could be an option for you to look into to boost your game. Within the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Animal Crossing, there are a few minor features coming in which you may want to play with, including mouse controls for decorating, custom codes in the bulletin board, there's support for up to 12 players online as long as every person has the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, and the reintroduction of the Megaphone, which will allow you to more easily find your villagers. There's also 4K support for the Nintendo Switch 2 when that's docked, so if any of these features are important to you, you may want to consider pre-ordering the Nintendo Switch 2 edition upgrade if you already have New Horizons so that you are ready to play on launch day. Something else that may be important for you to consider as part of your 3.0 update preparations, but is definitely not essential unless you're probably a little Animal Crossing obsessive like I am, is booking time off to play the update. If you are looking to do this, the one thing that I would advise you to do is to make sure that you look to book off the 14th of January as well as the 15th when the update does come out. The reason for doing this is because the 2.0 update actually launched a day early when that launched in 2021. So if you want to make sure that you are covered for when the update drops, that's the window of time that you're looking to book into. It is worth pointing out though that this is completely optional. The update will still be there regardless of what the day is, so you can play it and enjoy it either with everyone when it comes to launch or slightly later when more people have had an opportunity to experience it. Even though there is a lot to get done ahead of the new Animal Crossing update coming in, now is the best time to make sure that you really have everything you need to make the most out of the update. What are you most looking forward to in the 3.0 update, and what steps are you taking to make sure that you're ready for January? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.